Hello peeps, welcome back to Big Deck Playa. Today we're taking a look at another fun, slightly gimmicky deck. This deck has been named Zoo, and I found this deck on hearthhead.com, and this was posted by somebody by the name of Rainadex. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this is a Warlock deck, as you can probably tell. This deck is fairly cheap and lots of low cost. The ones you want to have a look at for possibly crafting, if you don't have them already, we've got 2 Argent Commanders, we've got 2 Doom Guards, 2 Defender of Argus. I think that's it. 2 Knife Jugglers, 2 Young Priestess. So there are a few in here that might cost you a little bit to craft. If you've been playing for a while, the chances are that you'll have these cards already. So let's have a look at removal. We've got 2 Soulfires for removal. We also have... oh, that's actually the only spells we have. Oh no, we've got Mortal Coil. But that's the only spells you have. The rest of it is kind of reliant on using your low-cost minions to rush the enemy as fast as possible, pretty much, using your hero power to draw cards. So, as I say, we've got 2 Doom Guards and an Argent Commander. These are kind of for finishers, really. You don't really want to be using these too early, mainly, especially with the Doom Guard, because you have to discard 2 cards to use it. So kind of use the Doom Guards and the Argent Commanders towards the end of the game to try and finish off your opponent. Defender of Argus is great because it buffs creatures as well as giving them taunt. And we've got more buffs in the shape of Shattered Sun Cleric. Lots of S's. Got a couple of Scarlet Crusaders which generally trade really well because of the Divine Shield that they have. And we've got more buffs in the way of Direwolf Alpha, and Young Priestess. And we've got some taunt in Shield Bearer and Voidwalker. So we've also got, as I say, we've got Knife Juggler, we've got Harvest Golem, which Harvest Golem always trades well, and Flame Imp because it's great value. A couple of Argent Squires in there as well, just for the low cost to kind of help proc the Knife Juggler ability. So that's the deck. It's been pretty fun so far. And I've had reasonable success with it. So let's see how we do in ranked.
Gul'dan versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine. Your soul shall suffer.
Well, we start off with another mirror match. Okay, well, I'm going to keep the Mortal Coil because early game that can be pretty useful. But I'm going to ditch these other ones because they rely on having minions on the board to buff, and I don't have any other minions in the hand. This is a lot better. A lot better. Young Priestess is maybe not the best choice at this stage. I have no way of getting rid of that immediately. Young Priestess I could put out, but there's a chance that he might have a Mortal Coil, which would then take out the Young Priestess, and I'd just end up losing that card. I kind of want to get rid of that.
So many possibilities.
And I don't really have a way of doing it, unless I put the Direwolf out. I could put the Direwolf out. I think that's probably the only thing I can do that's going to actually get rid of that. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. I would have liked to have had like a Voidwalker or even the Shield Bearer would have been nice. Just to kind of stay the attacks of my opponent. But that's fine. That's fine. Okay, turn 2. Let's stick the Knife Juggler out. And then next turn we can buff the Knife Juggler with a Shattered Sun Cleric.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Hey, catch!
Now the trick to playing against the Warlock, I find, is to try and do as much damage to the hero as fast as possible. Because the lower health they get, the less chances they are going to use their life tap, because obviously they have to take 2 damage in the process. So if you can knock them down fairly quickly, they're less likely to use it. I'm going to have to use mine next turn because I don't really want to use either of those particularly. Let's see. Great. Not what I wanted at all. Okay, let's put the young priestess out. And then we will hit him in the face for 3. I could clear that, or I could hit him in the face for 4. Take him down to 11 health. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'll let him make the trade. He's down to 11 health. Next turn, I guess I could use the Doom Guard. It depends on what I've got left on the board. Don't think I'm going to be able to get lethal next turn though, so...
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
One shot, one kill.
Okay. Okay. What else has he got? Soulfire. Haha, he lost his Elixir. Well, that's a relief. We don't have to worry about that then. Good. Right, let's use that to draw a card. What should we get out? Let's get the Shield Bearer. Let's get the Scarlet Crusader out. I'm tempted to use my Soulfire on his face, but we'll hold on to it for the time being. We'll hold on to it because I can use one of my Argent Commanders next turn. Certainly using a bit of a mishmash of cards in his deck. Okay, let's get the... We've got 6? Oh. No, then. Let's just get the Divine Shield. Let's get him out. I think I'm going to use this to go straight for his face.
Job's done.
Now I have lethal on the board, so he has to get rid of my minion or put a taunt up. Or that. That'll work. Except that I'll just use my other Argent Commander this turn. And that will finish him off. And that's the key to using this deck, is you have to use rush tactics. You have to go straight for the hero's face. If you start trading off your minions, you'll find that as the match goes on, your minions aren't really up to the task anymore, because if you leave it to the late game, chances are your opponent's going to have, like we saw, he had an Elixir in his hand. If he'd put that Elixir, if he'd got to like turn 9 and he'd put his Elixir out, there's no real way to counter that with this deck. Let's say I've got 2 Soulfires and 2 Mortal Cores, but the rest of it you have to trade. And a lot of the minions in this deck are low cost, so you've literally just got to pound the enemy in the face from the start in this deck to try and get an early win, or as early as possible. I think that was turn 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I think that was turn 7 then, for me. Is that right? Yes, that was turn 7. So, you know, that's what you got to try and do, is try and win the game by defeating your opponent before sort of turn 8, turn 9, when people can start getting their big legendaries out. Because this deck doesn't have any. But that's been the Zoo deck. As I say, I found this on halfhead.com, which I'll put a link below so you can go and check it out for yourself. The guy that posted this deck has done a ton of other decks as well, so you might want to have a look at those. I may do a spotlight on some of those at a later date, but I found this one and found it quite interesting, and we haven't done a Warlock deck for a while, so I figured I'd do this one. Thanks very much for watching. As I say, I always say, if you use this deck, you play this deck, if you have any questions, or if you make a video using this deck, let me know how you get on, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.